going to bring up Sharon Noble. She's going to talk to you about the lawsuit that is presently going on in regards to BC Hydro. So you welcome Sharon Noble, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
I want to thank you, first of all, for coming here today. And I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Natalie Dubé and for organizing this. It's been a long, hard ordeal, and she's done a wonderful job. Thank you, Natalie. Now, I want to talk to you about the problems that we've had, well, what's happened to us, how we got where we are, and what we're going to do about it. A lot of people today have talked about empowerment. I want to tell you how empowered we really are. Now, we all know about all the problems. You know there are so many problems. I'm going to concentrate on three. One is health. We all know that these are toxic devices that are emitting to be carcinogens. It's the same classification that the World Health Organization gives to DDT, lead, HIV, and a multitude of chemicals that the industry uses that you can't use in Canada anymore. You can't spray DDT on your yard. You can't paint your house with paint that has lead in it, but yet Hydro could put these things on our homes. This is not reasonable. This is what we're confronting. The second is privacy. These meters do gather information of a personal nature that's not needed for billing purposes. We don't know what Hydro is going to be doing with it, and we also know that it's very capable that it could fall into hands that we don't know about. This is a major problem, and it's going to get even bigger when the Zigbee chip is activated. You know, that second transmitter in there that's going to be communicating with all these smart devices that we're going to have in our homes. They're going to be gathering information about what you're using, when you're using it, and how long you're using it. And shipping it or selling it, we don't know what's going to happen to it. Third is fires. This is a major concern to me. And it's something that hasn't been talked about very much because Hydro denies that they're happening. But we know that these meters are plastic, combustible plastic, where analogs are glass and metal. These meters have been looked at by electrical engineers who have found that there are many design flaws that can and will lead to fires. There have been fires and electrical incidents here in British Columbia, and I've been trying for the last several months to get information on it, and it's virtually impossible. I was told that the fire commissioner doesn't keep records of it because there are no codes for fires that are caused by smart meters. So they're all coded electrical. Very convenient. You have to go through thousands of records to find anything that might pertain to a smart meter, but that's what I'm doing. Then I was told that incidents have to be reported by electricians, by fire inspectors to the BC Safety Authority. I've talked to many electricians who have told me that they've seen problems with these things. They've been called into homes where the meters are warm, where they've melted, where the wires to the home are burning. They know that there are problems and they've reported them. So I've gone to the BC Safety Authority. Well, amazingly, a few years ago in 2004, this formerly public agency is now a private agency. It is private. So it's not that easy to get the information from it. So I have to find the individual victims, try to run down these people who've lost a home, they don't have the same phone number, they don't have the same address, and get them to ask for reports from the BC Safety Authority. But then when I ask the BC Safety Authority for summaries or anything, they say there's nothing that they have about Hydro. Hydro is not in their jurisdiction. Everything has to be handled through BC Utilities Commission, which is controlled by the government and which has absolutely no authority. So now as far as fires are concerned, we've got nobody looking out for us. This is important, and I want everybody to go away now and tell your friends who have smart meters that these are dangerous things and they should be watching out for them. Now, we know about all these problems, and you better believe that the government knew about them long before they started bringing in the smart meters. They knew about them, so what did they do? They didn't want us to know. They didn't want BC Utilities Commission, which is the regulatory body for hydro, to know. Neither do they want anybody to be able to stop them. So in 2010, the government bypassed the BC Regulatory Authority in the Clean Energy Act. And they wrote in the Clean Energy Act that we would have smart meters and that BC Utilities Commission could not touch anything. They couldn't get involved in any way except for rates. Very convenient, right? But it's the law. So now, hydro is coming to our homes, bullying us, harassing us, intimidating us, trespassing, but it's the law. So we're stuck with it. Remember last year, before about June, the smart meter program said that we all had to have a smart meter, a functional smart meter. We weren't going to get one that we weren't going to have any choice at all. Well, Fortis BC has about 115,000 electrical customers in the interior. They were not exempted by the Clean Energy Act, so they had to go through the BCUC to apply for it, permission for the smart program. They did. We fought them. Our lawyer fought them. Many, many citizens got up and fought and tried to stop this. What we managed to do, though, was to get a choice. Fortis was told they had to allow Fortis customers to have a choice. And that choice was to have a smart meter with the transmitter turned off. Not much of a choice, not the choice I want, but it's a start. Bill Bennett, hearing this in July, said, okay, hydro customers can have this choice now too. You can have the smart meter with the meter turned off, but it's going to come with a price. And he said this in a radio and a newspaper interview. The price will be high enough to encourage people to take the smart meter. That's extortion. So what did Bill Bennett do next? He devised the prices. He said it's going to be $35 for people who keep their analog until it expires, or $20 for people who want to have the meter turned off. Then he went with an order in council and had a directive sent to the BCUC saying, you're going to approve legacy fees. There must be legacy fees. You cannot say there will not be legacy fees. And furthermore, you cannot look at any other aspect of the smart meter program. We don't care if it's dangerous. We don't care if it's unhealthy. You can't look at anything. This was through a directive. We are now having a government that operates through directives. This did not go to the legislature. Our MLAs had absolutely no opportunity to represent us on this. This was government by directive. And this is what we're stuck with. And now we're stuck with extortion, and it's the law. Well, I'm telling you that when there's a law that we don't think is right, when we think that there's a law that is illegal or it's being implemented in an illegal fashion, we've got options.
Yes, we do.
We do. We have major options. We have something that is so very, very strong. Now, before I get into the final option, I want to tell you what John Rand said today is very important. We should be able to work with our MLA. We should be able to work with our government. But we've been doing this for 4 years now. I've met with MLAs. I've met with John Horgan. I've spent hours with him. I like John, but he does not understand the problems. We've all written to our MLAs. We've written We submitted petitions with thousands of signatures and nothing's happened. That is our one recourse, is politicians. Our second one is to go to court. Now, we've got a very important tool, and it's one of the most important tools in the whole world, and we've got to cherish it. And it's called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Bill Bennett and this government have forgotten that we have this tool that trumps the Clean Energy Act, and it trumps any directive that he can pass through order in council. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects us from the government and from its agents and from its policies. This Charter of Rights and Freedoms tells us that we have the right to health, we have the right to privacy, and under the security of the person, we have the right not to be emotionally and psychologically terrorized. We've heard people here today talk about how they can't leave their homes. They're fearful because they're going to have their meters torn off. We know that there are people like Rob who will be made sick if these are on their homes. People are suffering terrible psychological trauma from this. And the government needs to know that our Charter of Rights and Freedoms cannot be ignored. We will not let them ignore them. And we started, therefore, last year, a class action lawsuit on behalf of everyone who wants to guard their civil rights, to determine what they put on their home, to what their families have to be exposed to. We filed it on behalf of everybody who is feeling harassed by this government because of the smart meter program. If you have an analog meter, you've been harassed, you've got dozens of letters, you've had phone calls, you're sitting in your home wondering if you're going to have your meter torn off your home, your analog torn off your home. You've been harassed. And on behalf of those people who got smart meters, either because they weren't home to defend them, or they were tricked, or they were deceived, or they just didn't know, or now because they just can't afford the legacy fee. They can't afford the extortion. The class action lawsuit is on behalf of everyone. And I'm telling you, we have to use this power. The class action lawsuit is not easy. I've had lots of people tell me, let's start another class action lawsuit for something else. I'll tell you, class action lawsuits are hard. They take a long time. They take a lot of people supporting it, and they take a lot of money. And Hydro knows this. Hydro has teams of expensive lawyers paid $600, $700, $800 an hour. Paid with our money, by the way. Yes, paid with our money. We've got one lawyer who's paid a pittance of what one of their lawyers is paid. And he's fighting on our behalf. Hydro is dragging this out even longer than it has to be, because they want to wear us down. They want us to go away. They hope that they will be able to diminish our strength. And I'm telling you, they aren't going to do that. They're not going to do that. We've got thousands and thousands of people across this province, many of whom couldn't have come today to any rally because they're sensitive. They couldn't come to this place. They have to stay away from any place where there's any Wi-Fi or anything. We've got people across the province who are still not aware of the problems. They don't know about the smart meter program, and they don't know about our class action lawsuit. So I'm asking you, I'm telling you, this is now in your hands. I'll keep working, but you've got to join me. We've got to reach out to our friends, our neighbors, the people we work with who don't know. You take in the forms that's on the back of this rally today, or you go to our many websites, the Citizens for Safe Technology, Stop Smart Meters BC, bcsmartmeterlawsuit.ca. Print off the form, complete it, send it in if you haven't already, give it to your friends and neighbors to complete and to mail in, and mail in with donations if you can. Now, I want you to know this and to tell this to your friends. There is absolutely no risk to anybody for joining this. If we lose, and you can never guarantee that any court action will be successful, I believe this will. Our charter rights are guaranteed. But if we have to lose, there's absolutely no financial stress or burden for anybody. And neither will your names be disclosed. We need them so that we can show our lawyer, we know that we've got people behind us. We will tell the courts how many thousands we have, and we already have thousands. We want thousands more. We want tens of thousands to join this. We want to be able to show that we've got the power to protect our civil rights. So please, go out there today, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, and let's keep this going. And I would like to end by reminding you about this great philosopher, Bob Marley. Remember his motto: get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight, and we won't. Thank you so much, everybody.